We have options for how to rescue people in cliffs. If they aren't injured, obviously it's just a simple pickoff. If it's a really steep face, we can do a toboggan that stays on snow, so steep angle. But this one, we need to find a way to actually pick somebody off who's completely incapacitated. Whether that's if they're unconscious, like a serious hip injury, like a really bad shoulder injury, or like an open leg fracture where like we can't just do a simple pickoff. We're gonna need something else. Toboggans are absolutely out of the question. They aren't really meant for like this high angle environment that we're about to go over. Skeds are a terrible option because they're so floppy, and trying to deploy them in a cliff environment is just impractical. Skeds are great for like steep stuff, maybe debris piles on avalanche call-outs in the backcountry. So in this scenario, could a skier catch an edge, tumble through trees, and then get raked through a cliff band and then end up in the cliff band? Yeah, it could happen. We need to have some way to deploy fast, rig something in a timely manner. The same rules for like regular cliff rescue apply. We want to find the fall line, select bomber anchor points. Definitely need some sort of secure packaging device. In this case, it's this rigid litter. It's already pre-assembled and it has all the bells and whistles, everything that you need in order to be able to do this safely. As far as securing the patient, securing the rescuer, maybe having two rescuers tend the litter as well. And if in a straight high angle, like 90-degree cliff face environment, it's probably a lot easier just to have one attendant or litter tender, rescuer, managing this. If it's a series of rocky benches, that maybe makes that angle like 70 degrees, 80, 70 degrees, maybe you can consider putting another litter tender into the system to kind of help. So the flatter our angle gets, the harder it is for one person just to manage it. The bridle already comes pre-rigged. Everything here is adjustable. It's a 4-point bridle that I can adjust while under load, and that's like huge in this environment. Granted, these aren't pulleys. I can't choke these up while it's full under load, but I can tilt the litter and adjust. And the back end is a modified set of 4s, Aztec. We're gonna tie our system into the bull ring. I still want stopper knots on the end of my tails. And this is dealer's choice. There's no right or wrong. There's just safe, unsafe. I could easily just tie midline knots and then hook into this, but I want a low profile. I like doing double long tail bowlines where I take the terminal ends and I give myself 10 feet of tail because I want some adjustability for me to go above and below as needed, and I don't want to get stuck on the tail. So I start off by creating your classic slip knot, and I take my tails, feed them into the bull ring, bring it all out, and now I'm going to create my loop, my midline loop. So right there. So find my tails, and I want to feed my tails into that slip knot that I created together. Pull the rest through. Dress it up, make sure there are no twists in it because I'm OCD. And right here, I want a small loop, but not super tight because I want to clip my personal connection into this loop as well. So maybe about right there is probably okay. I want to grab the tail and where that tail came from into a bite right there, hold it, and I pull the standing in, and the knot flips on itself, and you get your double long tail bowline with a small gain, just like that, with a very small little yoke right here. So nice, clean, it's well dressed, and we're good to go. So our litter is in the system. I need to get myself into the system in two places, a primary and a backup, or belay. My backup is going to be any one of these long tails. It doesn't matter which one. Our kit also has this integrated chest harness right here. We can easily clip into our seat harness and give us that extra kind of security for doing this kind of work at height. And then it also comes with a backup prusik and a carabiner on the sternal attachment point for the belay. Standard 3-rep prusik for backup. And our anchor systems are no different than your standard cliff rescue. Like, that doesn't change. We want bomber trees, suitable material, and we're doing a down-down evolution with IDs at the anchor. So my primary connection to this system, I want some sort of adjustability, and an easy mnemonic to remember is blue to you. So if we look here, we have an orange block and a blue block. So blue to you. And since it's my main attachment, it goes to my pelvic ring right here. So, and then I hook into the yoke of our double on tail boline. There. So now I'm hooked in, ready to go. We're going to take and test our system out, do the whistle test, go hands-free, weight it, make sure everything looks good and everything is dressed and nice and clean. All right, so I'm leaning back, they've taken, it's taut, we do the whistle test, we go hands-free, 2-rope system, 2 tension, so we have redundancy to the yoke, the bull ring, to the bridle. This is all pre-connected, so I don't have to worry about that. We have long tails for backups for rescuers, that's me. This is my backup on a prusik to my sternal on my harness, and then my primary, an adjustable set of 4s. So I'm gonna pitch this litter so that it's oriented vertically by releasing the foot bridle, and now I'm gonna extend this down. And I want to keep going until the foot bridle is more or less completely slack. And I want all the weight to be on the head bridles. And I want to get myself in position so I'm like kind of midway down on the litter. I don't want to be too high, but I don't want to be too low either. Okay, ready on red?
Ready on red.
Ready on black?
Ready on black.
Okay, down slow. Up. Okay, so based off of the terrain here, judgment call on the litter tender, I think it might be easier for me to negotiate this if I brought this litter up into a horizontal configuration. That would enable me to grab the litter and use my feet and kick it out. Again, the litter tender's only real job is to get this thing off of the face of the wall and to keep it from getting snagged on obstructions. Down slow.
Down slow.
So here I'm just looking at the landscape. It's kind of like a snowfield between 2 cliff bands. So as I clear this cliff band, I'm gonna reorient this vertically, and that might make it a little bit easier to load. Really, it's dealer's choice in how you want to load your patient. Okay, ready for down.
Okay, ready for down slow.
I can do commands if you want one.
Okay, cool. Where do we stop? Well, it's conditional based. It would be nice regardless to descend so we aren't in the fall line of our patient, because we don't want to inadvertently kick more snow onto them and then just send them off the cliff. So if we can like park to one side or another, that's ideal. For the rope rescuer, like it's all about patient care, but if we don't secure them, you can kiss patient care goodbye because they're gone. So we want to harness them in. The seat harness that we have that comes with the kit, well, we maybe, depending on conditions, we may have gotten a harness on them already by another team. But if not, this kit comes with everything you need. It's pre-rigged to a separate set of fours, so we can hook them in and then we can haul our patient up and scoop them into the litter if we need to do that. If we don't, no big deal. We don't really need this, but it's here, it's an option, whatever. My assistant, it's always good to have somebody else here with you. I mean, yeah, I could do this by myself, but it would take a long time, and it's so much better having another person to help you on one side or another. We're gonna actually pull him up, suck him up into our system, and we can do whatever we want. It's a combination of like, we can lift him up and then lower the litter down at the same time to kind of get him into the litter. Whatever makes it easier for us, we can do. And that's what this litter does, the kit does. It gives us all these options to adjust while under load. So that's key. So Sam's gonna start hauling and get our patient up a little bit. What's great about this litter in the vertical orientation, which is why I wanted to do it this way, is all the weight is on the head bridle and there's nothing on the foot bridle. And on the foot bridle, I can detach from the pulley very easily and get his feet to scoop in here. With the help of Sam, we can get him in here. A whole lot easier that way. There we go. Cool. Okay, now Sam, he's pretty low, so let's crank up on that aspect. There we go. Nice. Oh, you're nuts. All right. So now we have to do this thing we call internal and external lashing. So first things first, internal lashing. That means we want to rig something to keep our patient from sliding out the foot or the head inadvertently. Granted, he's in this Aztec, but we're actually going to take this off once we get him secured. So we have these NRS straps that we're going to do in an X configuration. We start with the lashing that is lowest in the litter, and we want to make sure that this doesn't overlap or cross over our litter bridle or the black straps. So internal lashing comes first. Okay, cool. Do you want your hands inside like this? You okay? All right, cool. So crisscross, blue straps. The top one prevents them from going out the foot. The bottom one prevents them from going out the head. Let's get that. We're gonna save the black straps for, Okay, so we wanna pad void spaces wherever we can. If we elect to maintain this vertical orientation, our patient's not moving and he's kind of vertically suspended in a harness. And so we need to be cognizant of this whole thing they call like the harness hang syndrome, orthostatic hypotension. And our kit comes with a little pre-made piece of webbing that we can rig a foot stirrup out of all this. Overhand on a bite, pre-tied. Each line is for each foot, right? So I can start anywhere I want, bring this around, tie it in with an overhand. Get this centered on his foot. I'm gonna do the same thing with this side. Tie an overhand. All right, so I'm gonna move this and lash this high up on a stanchion. So again, I don't want this to overlap my bridle. So I'm gonna go underneath and make sure that it's not encasing our external lashing system. And we're gonna go to this stanchion right here. So I'm gonna thread this in and around and bring it back down where it came from. So again, when I do this, I want to make sure that these black straps are not in there. So just like that. Okay. And I bring the tail into the bridge. So that's one side. I'm going to do something similar to the other side. Similar but different. So I'm going to let that fall for now. I want to match the same spot. So I size this up and I'm going to tie like maybe an overhand knot like right here. Something small, just so I can start a trucker's hitch. Okay, So there's my loop for a trucker's hitch on the opposite side. Now I'm going to take the end that I threaded here and through the bridge right there, up into the trucker's hitch of the loop, right in there. And I'm going to cinch this down and crank on it and then lash it off. And that's going to keep his feet secure. It's going to ease the forces on his femorals. It's going to help with that harness hang syndrome pathology. The only downside is you have to watch out for the pressure on the shins, but if they're wearing ski boots, it's not a big deal. And I can just lock off with 2 half hitches or whatever I want to do. The foot stirrup is an option, but if you are going to go vertical, like vertical orientation, it's kind of mandatory. It's patient care. You don't have to do this if you know you're going to go horizontal. Now we're ready for external lashing. Just the cross black straps. Again, this goes over everything except for the litter bridle. And we don't want these straps too tight because we want them to be able to breathe. So we want chest expansion. So like just snug but not overly tight. External lashing complete. Internal lashing complete. Our patient is 100% secured into the litter. We don't need any more backup systems. In fact, the Aztec that we used to kind of lift him up and scoop him into the litter, we can actually loosen that up and disconnect it completely. And since we still have 2 long tails, I'm on my 1 long tail backup. The red line also is a long tail. Sam can elect to be in the system and we can have like a 2 litter tender operation or not. I'm gonna elect not to do that because he's already on his own line. He can move around independently of the litter. It's probably gonna be easier, but it's an option if he wants to do that. So.
Copy, Alpha.
He's getting sporty.
Stop! Okay, switching to horizontal. Coming down. With the adjustable head and foot bridles, like not only can I bring this from vertical to horizontal based on the terrain, but I can also collapse this profile and make it really small. So right here it's like a super low profile. Lower the profile the better in general. Granted, you are putting more tension in your lines because you're flattening that angle out, but it's not like a critical showstopper. So he's free of the Aztec that we used initially, 100% secured in, and now my only job is to keep this litter off the face of the wall. And so with this edge transition, I want this litter to be in my lap. So I don't want to have my hands way up here on the rail. I want the rail to be like right in here so I can just do one of these and kick my legs out and push this whole thing away from the ball. Okay, down slow.
Okay, down slow.
Maybe shoot for 2 feet.
Maybe shoot for 2 feet.
Okay, on a good spot.
Okay, on a good spot.
Down slow.
Down slow.
About 5
Okay,
more
about
feet.
5
hold
more
on the
feet,
snow.
hold on the snow.
Okay, down now.
Okay, down, down. Okay, all stop.